I'll end you tonight. Shakira's boyfriend Travis said those words in the dark parking lot, his hand raised to strike the Namibian waitress who'd been counting tips from her Denver restaurant shift when she'd avoided his calls for 3 days after he threw a plate at her head. The Korean Mafia boss, watching from his expensive black car, intervened with a promise so cold it made Travis run. Touch her again, and what I do to you tonight will feel like gentle warning compared to what comes next. Now Shakira lives in crime boss Jiwan's guest house 3 months later, fallen completely in love with the dangerous man whose criminal world she swore to avoid, cooking him dinner and learning self-defense while he plans to leave his violent empire behind for a chance at normal life with her. But his manipulative ex-girlfriend Yuna just returned with blackmail evidence and a political marriage demand, backed by her mafia father. And Travis has resurfaced with Yuna secretly funding his attacks, trashing Shakira's apartment, leaving death threats, hunting her with violence, while Jiwan's own family pressures him to abandon the inappropriate African waitress and return to the criminal dynasty he's trying desperately to escape. Before we continue, can I ask you a question? Where in the world are you watching from? Comment below, because we'd love to know how far these stories travel, and hit the subscribe button, because it helps us create more heartwarming stories. The parking lot behind Moonstone Restaurant was dark, except for one flickering streetlight. Shakira's hands shook as she counted her tips for the night. $243, enough for rent, but just barely. She stuffed the cash into her purse and pulled her jacket tighter against the cold Denver wind. "Where do you think you're going?" Her blood turned to ice. Travis stepped out from behind a delivery truck, his face twisted with anger. Shakira's heart pounded so hard, she thought it might break through her chest. She'd been avoiding him for 3 days, ever since their last fight when he'd thrown a plate at her head. "Travis, please. I have work tomorrow. I need to go home." She tried to keep her voice steady, tried not to show fear. Her mother always said predators could smell fear. "Home? You mean that disgusting little apartment you refused to let me into?" He moved closer, and Shakira could smell alcohol on his breath. "I saw you tonight, smiling at that man at table 7, laughing like he was funny, making me look like a fool. He was just a customer. I was being polite. That's my job." Travis grabbed her arm, his fingers digging into her skin hard enough to leave marks. "Your job is to respect me. Your job is to remember who you belong to." Shakira tried to pull away, but his grip tightened. Pain shot up her arm. "You're hurting me. I'll do worse than hurt you." His face was inches from hers now, his eyes wild. "I'll end you tonight. You think you can embarrass me? You think you can ignore my calls? I'll teach you what happens to girls who forget their place." Everything happened fast after that. Travis raised his hand, and Shakira closed her eyes, bracing for the hit. But it never came. Instead, she heard a car door slam. Heavy footsteps. Then Travis's grip disappeared from her arm. She opened her eyes and saw a man standing between her and Travis. He was tall, dressed in an expensive black suit that looked out of place in this dirty parking lot. His dark hair was perfectly styled, and even from the side, Shakira could see he was handsome in a dangerous way. "Leave." The man's voice was quiet, but it carried weight. Not a request, a command. Travis puffed up his chest, trying to look tough. "Who the hell are you? This is between me and my girlfriend." "Ex-girlfriend," Shakira said quickly, finding her voice. "I'm not with you anymore, Travis." The stranger turned slightly, and Shakira saw his face. Strong jaw, sharp eyes that seemed to see everything. But what caught her attention was the coldness in those eyes, like looking at a frozen lake. Beautiful, but deadly. "You heard her." The stranger took one step forward. Just one. But something about the way he moved made Travis stumble backward. "She's not yours. She never was. And if you ever come near her again, what I do to you tonight will feel like a gentle warning compared to what comes next. You threatening me? Travis tried to sound brave, but his voice cracked. The stranger smiled, and it was the scariest smile Shakira had ever seen. No warmth, no humor, just a promise of pain. I don't make threats. I make guarantees. Run along now, and remember this feeling the next time you think about bothering her. Travis looked at Shakira, then at the stranger, then back at Shakira. For a moment, she thought he might try to fight. But then survival instinct kicked in. He turned and ran toward the street, disappearing into the night like the coward he was. Shakira's knees felt weak. She leaned against the building, trying to catch her breath. The stranger turned to face her fully, and up close, he was even more striking. There was something careful about the way he looked at her, like she was fragile glass he didn't want to break. Are you hurt? His voice was different now, softer, almost gentle. My arm, but I'll be okay. She rubbed the spot where Travis had grabbed her. Thank you. You didn't have to help me. Yes, I did. He glanced toward the street where Travis had run. Men like that don't stop on their own. They need to be stopped. Who are you? He hesitated, like he was deciding how much to tell her. My name is Ji-won. I had a business dinner in the restaurant. I was leaving when I saw him corner you. I'm Shakira. She managed a small smile. I work inside. Waitressing. I know. You served my table. Ji-won reached into his jacket and pulled out a card. That man will come back. They always do. When he does, call me. I'll handle it. Shakira took the card. It was heavy, expensive paper with just a phone number printed on it. No name, no business, just numbers. Why would you help me? You don't know me. Something flickered in Ji-won's eyes. Pain, maybe. Or memory. Let's just say I know what it's like when no one helps. I don't want to be the person who looks away. An expensive black car was parked nearby, and Shakira realized it must be his. Everything about him screamed money and power. His watch probably cost more than she made in a year. But his eyes were kind when he looked at her, despite the coldness she'd seen earlier. Let me drive you home, Ji-won said. Make sure you get there safely. Shakira knew she should say no. Her mother raised her to be careful about strangers, especially men who appeared out of nowhere, like knights in fairy tales. But something about Ji-won felt safe. Maybe it was stupid. Maybe she'd regret it. But tonight, she was too tired and scared to care. Okay. The inside of his car was like nothing Shakira had ever seen. Leather seats softer than her bed. The dashboard looked like a spaceship. It even smelled expensive, like new leather and subtle cologne. Ji-won drove carefully, not speeding or showing off. Where do you live? Shakira gave him the address, embarrassed by how run down her neighborhood was compared to the obvious wealth he had. They drove in silence for a few minutes. She snuck glances at him, trying to figure him out. His hands on the steering wheel were strong, but elegant. He had small scars on his knuckles, the kind you get from hitting things. Or people. How long have you been in Denver? Ji-won asked, breaking the silence. 3 years. I came from Namibia for college, but I had to drop out. Money problems. She didn't know why she was telling him this. I send most of what I earn back to my family. My mom is sick. That's honorable, taking care of family. He said it like he understood, like maybe he did the same thing. What about you? You don't sound like you're from Denver. Korea, originally. I moved here for business 5 years ago. He didn't offer more details, and Shakira didn't push. Some things were meant to stay private. When they reached her apartment building, Ji-won parked and turned to look at her. His eyes were intense, studying her face like he was memorizing it. Remember what I said. If he bothers you again, call. Day or night, I'll come. Why? Shakira needed to understand. Why do you care? Ji-won was quiet for a long moment. My mother used to look like you did tonight. Scared, hurt, trying to be brave. No one helped her. Everyone looked away. And eventually, she couldn't take it anymore. His voice was rough with old pain. So when I see someone who needs help, I don't look away. I can't. Shakira felt tears burn her eyes, not from sadness, but from the unexpected kindness of this stranger. I'm sorry about your mother. Me too. Jiwan reached over and gently took her hand, the one Travis had bruised. His touch was careful, warm. You deserve better than him. Better than being afraid. Remember that. Then he let go, and the moment broke. Shakira got out of the car, holding his card like a lifeline. She watched him drive away, his taillights disappearing into the Denver night. Her arm still hurt where Travis had grabbed her. Her heart still raced from the fear. But something else was there too. Something warm and confusing. Inside her tiny apartment, Shakira looked at herself in the bathroom mirror. Her arm was already bruising, dark purple marks in the shape of fingers. She thought about calling the police, but what would she tell them? Travis was smart enough not to hit her where anyone could see. And who would believe her word against his? She put Jiwan's card on her nightstand and crawled into bed. Sleep didn't come easily. Every sound made her jump, thinking it was Travis coming back. But mixed with the fear was something else. She kept remembering Jiwan's eyes, the way he'd looked at her like she mattered, like she was worth protecting. Who was he really? Why did a man in a $1,000 suit care about a broke waitress from Africa? And why did her skin still tingle where he'd touched her hand? Shakira pulled the covers up to her chin and stared at the ceiling. Tomorrow, she'd go back to work and pretend everything was fine. She'd smile at customers and carry heavy trays and count her tips. But tonight, for the first time in months, she fell asleep feeling just a little bit safe. She didn't know that across town, Jiwan sat in his study, unable to stop thinking about the scared woman in the parking lot. He'd meant what he said. He'd protect her, even if it meant bringing his dangerous world crashing into her simple life, even if it meant risking everything. 5 days passed, and Shakira almost convinced herself that night in the parking lot had been a dream. Almost. The bruises on her arm were real enough. So was the card on her nightstand with just a phone number. She'd picked it up a dozen times, running her thumb over the embossed numbers, wondering what would happen if she called. She was about to find out. It started with text messages, short ones at first. I saw you today. You looked pretty. Then they got worse. You can't hide from me. And finally, I know where you live. I know you're alone. Travis was watching her. The thought made Shakira's skin crawl. She checked over her shoulder constantly, jumped at every shadow. At work, she asked her manager to walk her to her car. But her manager was a 50-year-old woman who could barely carry a tray, let alone protect anyone. On the 6th night, Shakira got home from her shift to find her apartment door slightly open. She knew she'd locked it. She always locked it. Her heart hammered as she pushed the door wider with her foot, too scared to touch the handle. The apartment had been trashed, clothes torn from her closet, dishes smashed on the floor, her mattress slashed open, stuffing everywhere. And on her bathroom mirror, written in red lipstick, were 3 words: "You are mine." Shakira's hands shook so badly she could barely hold her phone. She thought about calling the police, but what could they do? Travis hadn't hurt her tonight. He'd just destroyed her things. They'd take a report and leave, and she'd still be alone in this violated space. Instead, she pulled out the card, stared at those numbers. Then, before she could talk herself out of it, she dialed. Jiwan answered on the 2nd ring. "Hello? It's Shakira, from the parking lot. You said to call if I needed help." Her voice cracked. "I need help." 23 minutes later, headlights swept across her window. Shakira watched from behind the curtain as Jiwon got out of his car, followed by two other men. Both were big, dressed in dark suits, and moved with the same dangerous grace Jiwon had. She opened the door before he could knock. Jiwon took one look at her face, and his jaw tightened. What happened? He broke in, destroyed everything, left a message. She stepped aside to let them in. Jiwon walked through the apartment slowly, taking in the damage. His two men checked the windows and door, talking quietly to each other in Korean. When Jiwon saw the message on the mirror, his whole body went still. It was scarier than if he'd yelled. "Pack a bag," he said quietly. "You're not staying here. I can't afford a hotel. You're not going to a hotel." Jiwon turned to face her, and his eyes were that frozen lake again, cold and deadly. "You're coming home with me. I have a guest house. You'll stay there until this is handled." "I don't understand. Why are you doing this?" One of Jiwon's men cleared his throat. "Boss, I'll make some calls. We'll find him tonight. Do that, and make sure he understands what happens if he comes near her again." Jiwon's voice was ice. Then he looked at Shakira, and the ice melted slightly. "Please, pack a bag. I'm not leaving you here." Something about the way he said it made Shakira realize he meant it. He would literally stand in her destroyed apartment all night if she refused to leave. And honestly, the thought of staying here, surrounded by Travis's violence, made her want to cry. "Okay," she whispered. She threw clothes into a duffel bag, hands still shaking. Her favorite dress was torn. Her grandmother's bracelet was missing, probably stolen. Everything felt contaminated now, touched by Travis's anger. Jiwon's house was in the suburbs, a 20-minute drive from her apartment. When they pulled through the gates, Shakira's mouth fell open. The main house was huge, modern, and beautiful with floor-to-ceiling windows. But Jiwon drove past it to a smaller building behind it. "This is the guest house," he explained, parking. "It has its own kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, everything you need. The doors lock, and my security system covers it. No one gets in without me knowing." The guest house was nicer than any place Shakira had ever lived. Hardwood floors, granite counters, a bed that looked like sleeping on a cloud. She set her bag down, feeling overwhelmed and out of place. "I can't pay you rent." "I'm not asking you to." Jiwon leaned against the doorframe, hands in his pockets. "Look, I know this is strange. You don't know me. But that man violated your home, your safety. I can't let you go back there. Stay here until we figure out a better solution." "What kind of solution?" "The kind where Travis understands that bothering you is the worst mistake of his life." Something dark flickered in Jiwon's eyes. "My men will find him tonight. We'll have a conversation. After that, he won't bother you again." Shakira should have been scared by how calmly Jiwon said that, by the implication of violence. But instead, she felt relieved. Someone was finally taking her side. Someone was making Travis face consequences. "Thank you," she said softly. "I don't know how to repay you." "You don't have to." Jiwon pushed off from the doorframe. "The main house is just across the yard if you need anything. I'll have groceries delivered tomorrow. For tonight, try to rest." He was almost out the door when Shakira called after him. "Jiwon, why are you really doing this? And please don't say it's because of your mother. There's something else." He turned back, and for the first time, she saw something vulnerable in his face. "Maybe I'm tired of being the kind of man who only knows how to hurt people. Maybe helping you makes me feel like there's still something good in me." Then he was gone, the door closing softly behind him. Shakira sank onto the couch, trying to process everything. Her apartment was destroyed. She was living in a stranger's guest house. And that stranger was clearly involved in something dangerous, something he'd carefully avoided naming. But she felt safer than she had in months. That night, she actually slept. No jumping at sounds. No checking locks every hour. When she woke up in the morning, sunlight was streaming through the windows, and there was a note slipped under her door. Travis has been handled. He won't bother you again. Coffee and breakfast are in the kitchen. Take your time settling in. Shakira found the kitchen stocked with more food than she'd had in years. Fresh fruit, real coffee, eggs and bacon in the fridge. She cooked herself breakfast, something she rarely had time for, and ate it slowly. Through the window, she could see the main house. Movement behind the windows suggested Jiwon was awake. She wondered what his life was like, who he really was, what handled meant. Days passed into weeks. Shakira kept working at the restaurant, but now Jiwon's driver picked her up and dropped her off. She protested at first, saying it was too much, but Jiwon insisted. Until I'm sure Travis is really gone, I need to know you're safe. They developed a routine. Sometimes Jiwon would knock on the guest house door in the morning with 2 cups of coffee. They'd sit on the porch and talk about nothing important. Favorite movies, books they'd read, the weather. Other mornings, Shakira would wake up to find breakfast already made and waiting for her. Jiwon never asked for thanks, never made her feel like she owed him. In the evenings, she started cooking dinner for both of them. It seemed like the least she could do. The first time she brought a plate of food to the main house, Jiwon looked surprised. "You didn't have to do this. I wanted to. You've done so much for me. Let me do something for you." They ate together that night, and it became their new routine. Shakira would cook traditional Namibian dishes, teaching Jiwon about her culture. He'd share stories about growing up in Korea, carefully editing out the darker parts of his life. One evening, 3 weeks after she'd moved in, they sat on the main house porch after dinner. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. Shakira was more relaxed than she'd been in years. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Always." "What do you do?" "For work, I mean." Jiwon was quiet for a long moment. "I run several businesses, import and export, mostly. Some real estate." It wasn't the whole truth. Shakira knew that. But she also knew she wasn't ready to hear the whole truth. Not yet. "And the men who came with you that night? Your employees?" "Something like that." Jiwon turned to look at her, his face serious. "My life is complicated, Shakira. There are parts of it that aren't good. Parts I'm not proud of. But I'm trying to be better. You make me want to be better." Her heart skipped. "I don't understand. You're kind, pure. You see the good in things." He reached over and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, his fingers lingering on her cheek. "Being around you reminds me that good things still exist, that maybe I'm not completely lost." Shakira's breath caught. His touch was gentle, but it sent electricity through her whole body. She'd been attracted to him from the start, but she'd pushed those feelings down. Now, with his hand on her face, and his eyes looking at her like she was precious, all those feelings came rushing back. "Jiwon," she whispered. "I should go." He stood up quickly, like he'd scared himself. "It's late. You should rest." But Shakira stood too, following him to the door. "Don't go. Not yet." He stopped, his back to her. She could see the tension in his shoulders, like he was fighting something. "If I stay, I'm going to want to kiss you," he said quietly. "And if I kiss you, I won't want to stop." Shakira's heart raced. She knew this was dangerous, knew she was probably making a huge mistake. But she was so tired of being careful, so tired of being afraid. "Then stay." Jiwon turned around slowly. His eyes were dark with want. "Are you sure?" Instead of answering, Shakira closed the distance between them and kissed him. It was like striking a match. Jiwon's arms came around her, pulling her close. His lips were soft but demanding, tasting like the wine they'd had with dinner. Shakira's hand slid up his chest, feeling his heart pound under her palms. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Jiwon rested his forehead against hers. "I've wanted to do that since the night I met you," he admitted. "Me too." They stood there, wrapped in each other, knowing everything had just changed, knowing there was no going back. Kissing Jiwon was a mistake, a beautiful, wonderful, earth-shattering mistake that Shakira couldn't bring herself to regret. That night on the porch opened a door neither of them could close. The next morning, she woke up in the guest house alone, but there was a single red rose on her doorstep with a note. "Good morning, beautiful. Coffee when you're ready." Shakira held the rose to her chest and smiled like a fool. Then reality crashed back. What was she doing? Jiwon was clearly involved in dangerous things. He had men who worked for him, the kind who could make problems disappear. He lived in a house that cost more than she'd earn in 10 lifetimes. And she was a broke waitress sleeping in his guest house because her ex-boyfriend was a monster. This was a disaster waiting to happen. But when she walked across the yard and saw Jiwon on his porch with 2 cups of coffee, and that small smile he saved just for her, all her smart objections disappeared. "Hi," she said, suddenly shy. "Hi." He handed her a coffee. "About last night. I don't want you to think I expect anything. You're safe here no matter what." "I know." Shakira sat down next to him, their shoulders touching. "I kissed you because I wanted to, not because I felt like I owed you." "Good." Jiwon relaxed slightly. "Because I've been thinking about you nonstop, and it's extremely inconvenient." Shakira laughed, and the tension broke. They fell back into their easy conversation, but now there was an awareness between them. Shakira noticed how Jiwon's eyes followed her movements, how his hand would brush hers when he passed her something, how the air felt charged whenever they were close. A week later, Jiwon asked if she wanted to learn self-defense. "Just basics," he explained. "So if you're ever in trouble again, you have options." They started training in the gym at his main house. Jiwon was patient, but firm, teaching her how to break holds, where to hit to cause the most damage, how to use her smaller size as an advantage. "The throat," he said, guiding her hand to his neck. "Eyes, groin. Don't fight fair. Fight to survive." His hands on her body, positioning her, correcting her stance, drove Shakira crazy. She'd sweat through her shirt, but not from the workout. From wanting him. From feeling his muscles move under her hands when he demonstrated a hold. One evening, they were practicing escapes. Jiwon had her pinned against the wall, his body pressed against hers, showing her how to twist free. But when she turned her head, their faces were inches apart. Both breathing hard. Both frozen. "Shakira," Jiwon said, his voice rough. "If you don't want this, tell me now, because my control is hanging by a thread." "I want this," she whispered. "I want you." He kissed her like he'd been drowning, and she was air. Hard and desperate and full of need. Shakira kissed him back just as desperately, months of tension finally breaking. His hand slid down her sides, gripping her hips. She wrapped her arms around his neck, pressing closer. Jiwon lifted her easily, carrying her out of the gym and up the stairs to his bedroom. Shakira had never been in this part of the house. It was dark and masculine, with a huge bed that they collapsed onto. "Are you sure?" Jiwon asked between kisses. "We can stop. Don't you dare stop." What happened next was everything Shakira had dreamed about, and nothing she'd expected. Jiwon was gentle but passionate, taking his time learning what made her gasp and moan. He worshipped her body like it was precious, kissing every scar, every imperfection. And when they finally came together, it felt like 2 puzzle pieces clicking into place. Afterwards, they lay tangled in his sheets, heart still racing. Jiwon traced patterns on her bare shoulder, his touch feather light. "Stay tonight," he said. "Stay with me." Shakira turned to face him, His hair was messy from her fingers running through it. His lips were swollen from kissing. He looked younger like this, vulnerable. Okay. They spent the night wrapped around each other, talking in the dark about things they'd never told anyone. Jiwon admitted he was planning to leave his business, the dangerous parts at least. I want a normal life, something clean, something I'm not ashamed of. Shakira confessed how scared she'd been in those months with Travis. I thought I was going crazy. He made me doubt everything, even reality. If you hadn't helped me, I don't know what would have happened. You're stronger than you think, Jiwon said fiercely. You survived. You got out. That takes incredible strength. I got lucky. You found me. No. You saved yourself by calling. I just helped. As dawn light crept through the windows, Shakira felt something shift inside her. This wasn't just attraction. This wasn't just gratitude. She was falling in love with Jiwon, with his kindness hidden under a dangerous exterior, with the way he looked at her like she was a miracle. The next few months were the happiest of Shakira's life. She and Jiwon became inseparable. She still lived in the guest house officially, but most nights she slept in his bed, wrapped in his arms. They cooked together, laughed together, made love until they were both exhausted and happy. Jiwon took her to Aspen for a weekend, just to get away from Denver. They stayed in a cabin in the mountains, surrounded by snow and quiet. It was there, watching the sunset paint the snow gold, that Jiwon told her he loved her. I never thought I'd feel this way, he admitted. I thought I was too broken, too damaged. But you make me feel whole, like I'm worth something. You are worth something, Shakira said, tears in her eyes. You're worth everything. They made love by the fireplace that night, slow and sweet, saying with their bodies what words couldn't express. But happiness like that never lasts, not in Jiwon's world. They returned to Denver on a Sunday evening, both relaxed and happy. Jiwon went into his office to check messages while Shakira unpacked. She heard him on the phone, his voice sharp and angry. What do you mean she's here? How did she get past security? Shakira walked to the office doorway. What's wrong? Jiwon's face was tight with stress. My ex-girlfriend just showed up. Her name is Yuna. She says her father sent her to rebuild business ties. Your ex? Shakira's stomach dropped. It ended badly 2 years ago. I haven't spoken to her since. Jiwon came over and took Shakira's hands. Don't worry. Whatever she wants, it doesn't change how I feel about you. But when they went to the main living room and Shakira saw Yuna for the first time, worry was all she could feel. Yuna was stunning, tall, elegant, wearing designer clothes that probably cost more than Shakira's car. Her makeup was perfect. Her hair fell in glossy waves down her back. She looked like she belonged in Jiwon's world in a way Shakira never would. Jiwon, Yuna said warmly, like they were old friends. Then her eyes slid to Shakira. Oh, I didn't know you had company. This is Shakira, Jiwon said, his arm around Shakira's waist. My girlfriend. Something flickered in Yuna's eyes. Surprise? Anger? It was gone too quickly to tell. How lovely. I'm Yuna. Jiwon and I go way back. Our families have been connected for generations. What do you want, Yuna? Jiwon's voice was cold. My father sent me to discuss the alliance. Things have been tense since we broke up. He thinks it's time to rebuild bridges. Yuna sat down like she owned the place, crossing her legs gracefully. It would be good for both our families. I'm not interested in alliances. Really. Because from what I hear, you've been having some problems with the Daesung family. An alliance with us could solve that. Yuna's smile was sharp. Unless you'd rather handle it alone. But we both know how dangerous Daesung can be. Shakira felt lost. These people were talking in code about things she didn't understand. Families, alliances, problems. What did any of it mean? Jiwon's jaw was tight. We'll discuss this later, tomorrow. Right now, you need to leave. Of course. Yuna stood up, smooth as silk. It was nice meeting you, Shakira. I hope we'll see more of each other. After she left, Shakira turned to Ji-won. What was that about? What alliance? What family business? Ji-won looked tired suddenly. Older. It's complicated. Then uncomplicated. Because I just met your ex-girlfriend who apparently has some kind of claim on you through family business, and I have no idea what's happening. There's a lot about my life I haven't told you. Ji-won sat down heavily on the couch. Things I'm not proud of. Things I've been trying to leave behind. Tell me now. So he did. He told her about growing up in the Korean Mafia, about his father who ran a criminal empire, about inheriting that empire when his father died. He explained about territories and alliances, about families who'd been in this life for generations. He admitted that his businesses weren't all legal, that he'd done things he regretted, hurt people he wished he hadn't. I'm trying to get out, he said desperately. I've been building legitimate businesses, planning my exit. That's why I haven't wanted to discuss alliances or territories. I want to be done with all of it. Shakira felt like the floor had dropped out from under her. The man she loved was a criminal. Not just involved with criminals, but actually one of them. A boss. Someone people feared. Say something, Ji-won pleaded. Yell at me. Tell me I should have been honest sooner. But please, say something. I need time to think. Shakira stood up, her legs shaky. I need to process this. She went back to the guest house, which suddenly felt like what it was. A place for guests. Not home. Not really. She sat on the bed and tried to understand how she felt. She loved Ji-won. That hadn't changed. But did she love him enough to accept this? To be with someone whose past was violent and whose future was uncertain? Could she really build a life with a man who might have enemies, who might be in danger? Around midnight, there was a soft knock on the door. Shakira opened it to find Ji-won standing there, looking wrecked. I'm sorry, he said. I should have told you sooner. I was scared you'd leave if you knew the truth. Maybe I should leave. Please don't. He reached for her hand. I know this is a lot. I know I'm asking too much. But I love you, Shakira. You're the best thing in my life. The only good thing. Without you, I'm just the monster everyone thinks I am. Shakira looked at their joined hands. His were bigger, scarred from fights. Hers were smaller, scarred from restaurant burns. Two different people from two different worlds. But when she looked in his eyes, she saw the man who'd saved her, who'd given her a safe place, who'd held her when she cried, and made her laugh when she was sad. The criminal was part of him, yes, but so was the good man, the one trying to change. I'm not leaving, she said finally, but I need you to promise me something. Promise you're really getting out. That we can have a normal life eventually. I promise. Ji-won pulled her close. I'll do whatever it takes. They held each other in the doorway, both knowing they'd just crossed another line. Love wasn't simple anymore. It was complicated by pasts and futures, by danger and choices. But it was still love. And for now, that would have to be enough. Yuna didn't waste time. 2 days after her first visit, she showed up again, this time with an invitation. Her father was hosting a dinner to discuss business, and Ji-won's presence was requested. Expected, required. You don't have to go, Shakira said as Ji-won stared at the thick invitation card. Yes, I do. If I refuse, it's an insult. Insults lead to problems. He looked stressed in a way Shakira had never seen. Her father controls significant territory. If he decides I'm an enemy, things will get complicated. Then I'm coming with you. Ji-won shook his head immediately. No. These dinners aren't safe for outsiders. You don't know these people, how they operate. I'm your girlfriend. If I'm going to be part of your life, I need to understand your world. Shakira crossed her arms. Plus, I'm not letting you spend an evening with your ex-girlfriend without me there. Despite the stress, Ji-won smiled slightly. Jealous? Extremely. She's gorgeous and rich and knows your world. I'm none of those things. You're beautiful and brave and the only person who makes me happy. Ji-won pulled her close. Fine. You can come. But stay close to me. And if I tell you to leave, you leave immediately. Promise me. I promise. The dinner was at an expensive restaurant that regular people couldn't get into. Shakira wore the nicest dress she owned, bought years ago for a college dance. Next to Yoona in her designer gown, Shakira felt like a child playing dress-up. Yoona's father, Dae-sung, was a thin man, with cold eyes that reminded Shakira of a snake. He greeted Ji-won warmly, but there was calculation behind the warmth. And this must be your guest, Dae-sung said, looking at Shakira like she was interesting but unimportant. Welcome. The dinner was torture. Everyone spoke in careful circles, talking about business without saying anything specific. Shakira tried to follow the conversation, but it was like they were speaking in code. Yoona sat next to Ji-won, touching his arm when she talked, laughing at things that weren't funny. Remember that time in Seoul? Yoona said, her hand lingering on Ji-won's sleeve. When we snuck away from the meeting and spent the whole day at that beach? That was a long time ago, Ji-won said stiffly, removing his arm. Not that long. 2 years isn't forever. Yoona's smile was sweet, but her eyes were calculating. We had such good times together, our families working as one. It was perfect. Until it wasn't, Ji-won replied. After dinner, Shakira excused herself to the bathroom. She needed a minute away from Yoona's perfect face and pointed comments. But when she came out, Yoona was waiting in the hallway. Can we talk? Yoona asked. Woman to woman? Everything in Shakira screamed this was a bad idea, but she nodded. I like you, Yoona said, which was clearly a lie. You seem sweet, but you need to understand something. Ji-won and I aren't just exes. Our families have been connected for 3 generations. His grandfather worked with mine. Our fathers are allies. When we were together, it strengthened both families. That's nice, but Ji-won and I are together now. Are you? Yoona tilted her head. Or are you a guest living in his house? Do you really think you can fit into his world? You're a waitress from Africa. No offense, but you don't understand our culture, our business, our way of life. Each word was a knife, cutting at Shakira's insecurities. Ji-won loves me. Maybe he does. But love isn't enough in our world. Yoona leaned closer. My father is putting pressure on Ji-won to rebuild our alliance. If Ji-won refuses, there could be consequences. War, maybe. People could die. Can you live with that? Knowing people died because Ji-won chose you over peace. Shakira felt sick. You're lying. Using fear to manipulate me. Am I? Yoona smiled, and it was cruel. Ask him. Ask Ji-won what happens if he refuses my father. Ask him what the consequences are. Then she walked away, leaving Shakira shaking in the hallway. When they got home that night, Shakira was quiet. Ji-won noticed immediately. What did Yoona say to you? Is she right? Will there be consequences if you refuse to work with her father? Ji-won's silence was answer enough. Tell me the truth, Shakira demanded. All of it. Dae-sung controls territory that borders mine. We've had an uneasy peace for years, mainly because of my relationship with Yoona. When we broke up, things got tense. Now he's using her to pressure me back into alliance. Ji-won rubbed his face tiredly. If I refuse completely, he might see it as an opening to move against me. So people could get hurt. Potentially. But that's not your fault, Shakira. These are problems that existed long before I met you. But I'm making them worse. Shakira felt tears burn. Maybe Yoona's right. Maybe I don't belong in your world. Don't. Ji-won grabbed her shoulders. Don't let her poison your mind. She's manipulating you because she knows you're my weakness. She knows I love you. But loving me is making things harder for you. Loving you is the only thing keeping me sane." Ji-won's voice was desperate. "Yes, there are complications. Yes, my life is messy. But I don't want to go back to Yuna. I don't want the old alliances. I want out. And I want you." Shakira wanted to believe him, but doubt had been planted, and it was growing like weeds. Over the next 2 weeks, Yuna was everywhere. She showed up at Ji-won's house for business meetings. She called constantly about alliance details. She somehow knew where Shakira worked and came to the restaurant, sitting in Shakira's section with a pitying smile. "How's everything going?" Yuna asked innocently. "Still living in the guest house?" Shakira wanted to throw the water she was pouring in Yuna's perfect face. Instead, she smiled professionally. "What can I get you to drink?" "Just water. I need to watch my figure. Though I suppose you don't worry about that, working on your feet all day." Yuna's smile was poisonous. "Ji-won used to love taking me to nice restaurants, real dates, not just eating at home." Every word was designed to hurt, and it worked. Shakira felt herself shrinking, feeling less worthy with each comment. At home, Ji-won was distant. He spent hours in his office on the phone, dealing with problems Shakira didn't understand. When they were together, he seemed stressed and tired. They barely talked anymore, and they hadn't made love in a week. "Is everything okay?" Shakira asked one night. "Just business problems, nothing you need to worry about." But she did worry. She worried he was pulling away. She worried Yuna was winning. She worried that maybe everyone was right, and she didn't belong in this world. The breaking point came on a Thursday. Shakira got off work early and came home to find Yuna's car in the driveway. Through the window, she could see Yuna and Ji-won in his office. They weren't touching, but they were standing close, talking seriously. Yuna put her hand on Ji-won's arm, and he didn't move away. Something in Shakira broke. She went to the guest house, packed her few belongings, and sat down to write a note. Her hand shook so badly she could barely hold the pen. "Ji-won, I can't do this anymore. Yuna was right. I don't belong in your world. You need someone who understands your life, your business, your culture. Someone who makes things easier, not harder. I'm sorry. I'll always love you. But love isn't enough. Thank you for everything. Please don't try to find me. Shakira." She left the note on his desk while he was still in the office with Yuna, then called a cab. The driver took her to the cheapest motel she could find across town. It was dirty and smelled like cigarettes, but it was all she could afford until she found an apartment. That night, Shakira cried until she had no tears left. She'd left her heart in that guest house, in Ji-won's bed, in the life she'd briefly thought could be hers. Across town, Ji-won found the note an hour later. He read it twice, then once more, his hands crushing the paper. Then he started making calls, determined to find her. But Shakira had turned off her phone and paid the motel in cash. For the first time in a long time, she'd completely disappeared. And it was killing both of them. So here's the end of Chapter 4, and I need you to do something. If you're loving this story, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what happens next. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, and let me know if you think Shakira made the right choice, leaving Ji-won. Shakira lasted 3 days in the motel before she couldn't afford it anymore. She found a tiny apartment in a rough neighborhood, the kind where sirens were the soundtrack and you didn't make eye contact with neighbors. It was the opposite of Ji-won's beautiful guest house, but it was hers. Sort of. The landlord wanted first and last month's rent, which took every dollar she had saved. Her first night alone, she sat on the bare floor and ate instant noodles for dinner. The apartment was empty except for an old mattress the previous tenant left behind. No furniture, no curtains, just 4 walls and the crushing weight of her decision. Her phone, turned back on, buzzed constantly. 63 missed calls from Jiwon, dozens of texts. Where are you? Please talk to me. I'm sorry. Whatever I did, I'm sorry. Shakira, please. I'm losing my mind. She deleted them without responding. It was better this way. Cleaner. She'd go back to her old life, pretend the last few months never happened. Forget what it felt like to be loved by someone like Jiwon. Except she couldn't forget. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw his face, felt his hands on her skin, heard his laugh when she said something funny. The pain was physical, like someone had reached into her chest and torn out her heart. Work became her escape. Shakira picked up every extra shift available, working doubles and triples until she was so exhausted she'd fall into bed without thinking. Her coworkers noticed, but didn't ask questions. Everyone at the restaurant had their own problems. You look terrible, her manager said on day 7. When's the last time you slept? I'm fine. You're running yourself into the ground. Take tomorrow off. But Shakira couldn't take time off. Time off meant thinking, remembering, wondering if she'd made a huge mistake. Meanwhile, across Denver, Jiwon was falling apart in his own way. He'd spent the first 3 days searching for Shakira, using every resource he had. But she'd vanished completely, and it was driving him crazy. Boss, you need to sleep, his right-hand man Taemin said, watching Jiwon pace his office at 3 in the morning. You've been up for 48 hours. I need to find her. Maybe she doesn't want to be found. Taemin said it gently, but the words hit like bullets. Jiwon slammed his hand on the desk. She's out there alone because I wasn't paying attention, because I let Yuna manipulate the situation, because I didn't make Shakira feel secure. Or maybe she realized she couldn't handle your world. It happens. No. Jiwon's voice was firm. Someone got in her head, convinced her she didn't belong, and I have a pretty good idea who. He was right. Yuna had been working on her plan from the moment she saw Jiwon with Shakira. Getting rid of the girlfriend was step 1. Step 2 was positioning herself as the solution to all Jiwon's problems. I heard your little friend left, Yuna said, showing up at Jiwon's house uninvited the next evening. I'm sorry. That must be hard. Get out. Jiwon, be reasonable. With her gone, we can focus on what's important. The alliance, our families. We were good together once. We could be again. We were never good together. You used me to spy for your father. I haven't forgotten that. Yuna's mask slipped slightly. That was business. This is different. My father is willing to forgive past issues if we can present a united front. Think about it. No more territory disputes. No more tension. Peace. At what cost? Pretending to care. About you? Giving up my chance at real happiness? Happiness? Yuna laughed. You think that girl made you happy? She was a waitress playing in a world she couldn't understand. You deserve someone on your level. She was on my level. She was above it. And you're the one who drove her away. Jiwon stepped closer, his voice dangerous. Stay away from me, Yuna. Tell your father the alliance is dead. I want nothing to do with either of you. You're making a mistake. My father won't take rejection well. Then that's his problem. Yuna left angry, and Jiwon knew there'd be consequences. But he didn't care. He just wanted Shakira back. His sister Haran was the one who finally found her. Haran had become friends with Shakira during those happy months, and unlike Jiwon's men, she knew where Shakira used to work. I found her, Haran said, bursting into Jiwon's office. She's still at Moonstone Restaurant. I drove by and saw her through the window. Jiwon was out the door in seconds. He arrived at the restaurant during Shakira's dinner shift. Through the window, he saw her carrying trays, smiling at customers. She looked thinner, tired, but still beautiful. Still his. He waited until her shift ended, then followed her outside. Shakira was walking to the bus stop when she heard his voice. Shakira, please, just talk to me. She froze, then slowly turned around, seeing him hurt worse than she'd expected. He looked terrible. His clothes were wrinkled. His hair was messy. His eyes were red like he hadn't slept in days. "You shouldn't be here," she said quietly. "I've been looking everywhere. Why did you leave?" "You know why. I don't fit in your world. Yuna made that clear." "Yuna is a liar." Ji-won moved closer. "Whatever she said, whatever she made you feel, it was manipulation. I love you, not her. I choose you. But choosing me makes your life harder, your business more complicated, your family angry." Shakira felt tears coming. "I can't be the reason everything falls apart." "You're not. My world was already falling apart. You were the only thing holding it together." Ji-won's voice cracked. "Come home. Please. We'll figure everything out together." For a moment, Shakira wavered. She wanted so badly to say yes, to run into his arms and forget the last terrible week. But then she thought about Yuna's perfect face, her pointed comments, the way she fit so easily into Ji-won's world. "I can't. I'm sorry." She turned and got on the bus before he could stop her. Through the window, she watched him standing on the sidewalk, looking destroyed. Then the bus turned a corner, and he disappeared. Shakira went back to her empty apartment and cried herself to sleep for the 8th night in a row. But while she was crying, Ji-won was planning. He'd lost her once because he wasn't paying attention. He wouldn't make that mistake again. If Yuna wanted war, she'd get it. But not the kind she expected. The next morning, Ji-won called a meeting with Dae-sung. "I want to discuss the alliance," Ji-won said when they met at a neutral restaurant. Dae-sung smiled, thinking he'd won. "I'm glad you've come to your senses. Yuna said you were being difficult. I'm not agreeing to anything. I'm here to tell you that if you or your daughter come near me or Shakira again, there will be consequences." The smile disappeared. "You're threatening me? I'm making a promise. Stay away from what's mine. That girl isn't worth starting a war over. To me, she is." Ji-won stood up. "And if you push me, you'll learn exactly what I'm capable of when someone I love is threatened." He walked out, knowing he'd just made things worse. But he didn't care. Some things were worth fighting for. That night, Ji-won sat in his empty house and made a decision. He'd been planning to leave the criminal world slowly, carefully. But Shakira needed him to be different now, not later. So he started the process of stepping down, transferring power, building an exit strategy. It would take time. Months, maybe. But he'd do it. He'd become the man Shakira deserved. Meanwhile, Yuna was furious about Ji-won's meeting with her father. She'd been so close to getting him back under her control. Now he was burning bridges and making enemies. Fine. If he wanted to be difficult, she'd be difficult back. Yuna started spreading rumors. Ji-won was weak, distracted, losing control. She whispered in the right ears, planted seeds of doubt. Within days, other families started testing Ji-won's borders, seeing if the rumors were true. Ji-won was too busy planning his exit to notice at first. By the time Taemin brought him the reports, 3 shipments had been hijacked, 2 businesses had been threatened, and 5 of his men had been jumped. "It's coordinated," Taemin explained. "Someone is organizing moves against you." "Yuna," Ji-won said immediately, "or her father. They're trying to force my hand." "What do you want to do?" Ji-won thought about Shakira, alone in some apartment he couldn't find. He thought about the life he wanted with her, the normal, peaceful life. "I want out. Speed up the exit plan. I don't care about the territory anymore. Give it to whoever wants it. I'm done." His uncle Sangmin heard about the decision and exploded. "You're giving up? Your father built this empire, and you're handing it over because of a girl?" "I'm choosing a different life. There's a difference." "She's made you weak. Everyone can see it." "Maybe. Or maybe she made me realize what actually matters." Ji-won looked at his uncle calmly. "I'm stepping down in 3 months. You can take over if you want, or I'll give it to Taemin. But I'm done." The family split over the decision. Some supported Ji-won. Others thought he was betraying his father's legacy. The division created more vulnerability, more opportunities for enemies. And through it all, Shakira worked and slept and tried to forget. She didn't know about the chaos she'd left behind. She didn't know Ji-won was dismantling his entire life for a chance at a future with her. She just knew she was miserable and nothing felt right anymore. 3 weeks after leaving, Shakira was walking home from work when she noticed a car following her. Her heart jumped. Travis? No, he was gone. But then who? The car pulled up beside her, and the back window rolled down. Yuna sat inside, looking perfect as always. "Get in. We need to talk. I have nothing to say to you. Even if it's about Ji-won?" Yuna's smile was cruel. "I thought you'd want to know what you've done to him." Against her better judgment, Shakira got in the car. Yuna drove to a park and stopped. "Ji-won is destroying everything because of you. He's stepping down from the family business. His uncle hates him. Other families are moving against him. And it's all because he can't let go of some fantasy about being with you. Why are you telling me this? Because you need to understand. If you truly care about him, you'll stay away. Let him rebuild his life. Find someone appropriate. But if you go back, you'll just drag him down further." Yuna turned to look at her. "So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep being selfish, or are you going to let him go?" Shakira felt sick. Everything Yuna said matched her worst fears. She was bad for Ji-won. Toxic. A weakness that could get him killed. "I won't contact him," Shakira said quietly. "Good." Yuna smiled, satisfied. "I'll drive you home." When Shakira got out of the car, she felt emptier than ever. She'd done the right thing. So why did it feel like she was dying inside? What Shakira didn't know was that everything Yuna had said was designed to manipulate her. Yes, Ji-won was stepping down, but he was doing it voluntarily, happily, because he wanted a different life. The problems with other families existed before Shakira, and Ji-won's uncle would be angry no matter what choice his nephew made. Yuna had taken facts and twisted them into weapons, and Shakira, isolated and insecure, had no way to know the truth. That night, both Shakira and Ji-won lay awake in their separate spaces, both thinking about the other, both miserable. Neither knew that everything was about to get much worse before it got better. Ji-won's sister Harin refused to let this story end in tragedy. She'd watched her brother fall apart over the past month, barely eating, barely sleeping, destroying his life over a woman he couldn't have. Meanwhile, she'd driven past Moonstone Restaurant 3 times and seen Shakira looking equally miserable through the windows. "This is ridiculous," Harin muttered to herself. "Two people who love each other, being kept apart by that witch Yuna." She made a plan. First, she tracked Shakira down properly this time, following her after work to discover the apartment building. Then she waited until morning, when she knew Shakira would be home, and knocked on the door. Shakira answered in sweatpants and an old shirt, looking exhausted. When she saw Harin, her face crumpled. "I can't do this. Please leave." "Not until you listen." Harin pushed past her into the tiny apartment. "Wow, this place is terrible. Anyway, we need to talk." "There's nothing to say." "Really? Because my brother is destroying himself over you. He's stepping down from the family business, cutting ties with the organization, planning a completely new life. And you're hiding in this box, eating instant noodles." Harin sat on the floor since there was no furniture. "What happened? You two were so happy." "Yuna happened. She made me realize I don't belong in Ji-won's world. Yuna is a manipulative liar who wants my brother back for business reasons, not love." Harin said it firmly. "Whatever she told you was designed to separate you two. Can't you see that? She said I was making things worse for him, that other families were moving against him because he was distracted. Other families are always moving against powerful men. That's how this world works. It has nothing to do with you. Harun grabbed Shakira's hands. Jiwan is leaving that world. For you. Because he wants a normal life with you. But you're not there to see it. Shakira felt hope flutter in her chest, dangerous and painful. He's really leaving? In 2 months, he'll be completely out. He's transferring everything to our uncle in Timon. He bought a restaurant space and is planning to open a legitimate business. He enrolled in business classes to learn proper management. Harun smiled. He's doing everything he can to be worthy of you. The question is, are you brave enough to let him? What if Yuna was right? What if I make his life harder? You make his life worth living. There's a difference. Harun stood up. Come on, get dressed. We're going to see him. I can't just show up. Why not? You love him. He loves you. Everything else is just noise. Harun pulled Shakira to her feet. Stop being scared and fight for what you want. 30 minutes later, Shakira stood outside Jiwan's house, her heart racing. Harun had driven away after dropping her off, saying they needed to do this alone. Now Shakira was second-guessing everything. Before she could change her mind, the door opened. Jiwan stood there in sweatpants and a t-shirt, looking shocked. Shakira? Hi. Her voice came out small. Can we talk? Jiwan pulled her inside immediately, like he was afraid she'd disappear again. They stood in his entryway, both breathing hard, both scared. I'm sorry, Shakira said first. I should never have left. I let Yuna manipulate me. I was scared and insecure, and I ran instead of fighting. I'm sorry, too. I should have made you feel more secure. Should have dealt with Yuna immediately instead of trying to be diplomatic. Jiwan reached for her face, cupping it gently. I missed you so much. Every day without you was torture. Harun told me what you're doing. Leaving the business, starting over. I was always planning to leave. You just gave me a reason to do it now instead of later. His thumb brushed her cheek. I want a normal life, Shakira. A peaceful life. With you. If you'll still have me. Instead of answering with words, Shakira kissed him. It was desperate and hungry and full of a month's worth of longing. Jiwan kissed her back just as desperately, his arms coming around her, lifting her off the ground. Don't leave again, he said between kisses. Please, I can't survive it. Never. I promise. They made their way upstairs, leaving a trail of clothes. In Jiwan's bedroom, they came together with urgent need, both trying to erase the terrible weeks apart. Jiwan worshipped her body like he'd forgotten what she felt like and needed to relearn. Shakira held him close, touching his face, his chest, making sure he was real. Afterwards, tangled in his sheets, Jiwan told her everything. About stepping down, about his plans for the restaurant, about the business classes. I want to cook Korean food, he explained. Real food, like my mother used to make. Maybe fusion dishes. I've been thinking about Korean and Namibian flavors together. A restaurant that represents both of us. Shakira's eyes filled with tears. You're really doing this. For us. For our future. Jiwan kissed her forehead. I want kids eventually. A family. But I can't raise children in my old world. They deserve better. We deserve better. I love you so much. I love you too. More than anything. They spent the weekend reconnecting, talking about the future, planning their new life. Monday morning, Jiwan helped Shakira move out of the terrible apartment and back into the guest house. Just until we figure out where we want to live permanently, he said. Maybe buy a house together. Something that's ours. Everything felt perfect again. Like the month apart had been a bad dream. But across town, Yuna was learning about their reunion, and she was furious. He rejected me for her again, she screamed at her father. After everything we did? Calm down, Daesung said. If Jiwon wants to throw away his empire for a nobody, let him. It makes taking his territory easier. I don't want his territory. I want him to suffer. Yuna's eyes were cold. If I can't have him, neither can she. What are you planning? You'll see. While Shakira and Jiwon were enjoying their reunion, Yuna was making calls. She reached out to Travis, Shakira's ex-boyfriend. It wasn't hard to find him. Men like Travis left trails of complaints and restraining orders wherever they went. I have a proposition, Yuna told him. How would you like to get revenge on the woman who got you in trouble? Travis, drunk and angry as always, listened to her plan. When she was done, he smiled nastily. When do we start? The first sign of trouble came 3 days later. Shakira was at work when she got a text from an unknown number. It was a photo of her walking into Jiwon's house with a message. Whore. Her hands shook as more texts came. You ruined my life. I'll ruin yours. Watch your back. Shakira knew immediately it was Travis. But how did he find her? She'd been so careful. She called Jiwon, her voice shaking. Travis is texting me, threatening me. I don't know how he found me. I'm coming to get you. Don't leave the restaurant. Jiwon arrived with Taemin and 2 other men. They escorted Shakira to the car while scanning the area. We'll find out how he tracked you, Jiwon promised, and we'll deal with it. But the threats didn't stop. The next day, someone slashed the tires on Shakira's car. The day after, she found a dead rat left on the doorstep of the guest house. Each incident escalated. This isn't Travis's style, Taemin said, examining the rat. He's a drunk who makes threats. This is calculated, designed to create fear. Someone's helping him, Jiwon said grimly. Someone who wants to hurt Shakira to hurt me. Yuna? Who else? They were right. Yuna had given Travis money, information, and encouragement. She'd told him where to find Shakira, how to get past basic security, what would cause maximum fear. Just scare her, Yuna had instructed. Make her feel unsafe. Make her want to leave. But Travis had his own plans. He wasn't interested in just scaring Shakira. He wanted revenge. The situation exploded on a Thursday night. Shakira was closing at the restaurant when the power went out. It was just her and 1 cook left in the building. She heard glass breaking near the back entrance. Call the police, she told the cook, her heart racing. Footsteps in the dark, heavy breathing. Then Travis's voice, slurred and angry. Found you. Shakira ran for the front door, but Travis was faster. He grabbed her arm, the same one he'd bruised months ago. She screamed and used the self-defense moves Jiwon taught her, stomping on his foot, going for his eyes. You ruined everything, Travis shouted, shaking her. I lost my job because of you, my friends, everything. You did that yourself, Shakira gasped, struggling, by being violent and cruel. Travis raised his fist, and Shakira closed her eyes. But the hit never came. Suddenly, Travis was yanked away from her, thrown against the wall. Jiwon stood there, fury in his eyes. Touch her again, and you die. 3 of his men held Travis while Jiwon checked Shakira over. Are you hurt? I'm okay. How did you know to come? I had men watching the restaurant. When the power went out, they called me. Jiwon turned to Travis. Who's helping you? How did you find her? Travis, scared now, started talking. He told them everything about Yuna, about the money she'd given him, about how she wanted Shakira scared enough to leave Denver. Jiwon's face went cold. Take him somewhere secure. I'll deal with him later. Right now, I have someone else to visit. He took Shakira home first, making sure she was safe with guards posted outside. Then he drove to Yuna's hotel, his anger barely controlled. Yuna answered her door in a silk robe, smiling until she saw his face. Jiwon, this is unexpected. You hired Shakira's abusive ex to terrorize her. You put her life in danger. His voice was deadly quiet. Why? I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie. Travis already confessed. Jiwon stepped closer. You could have killed her. All because you can't accept that I don't want you. Yuna's mask cracked. You threw everything away for her. Your position, your power, your family legacy. For a waitress who doesn't understand anything about our world. She understands the only thing that matters. Love. Something you've never felt. Jiwon pulled out his phone. I recorded Travis's confession. I'm sending it to your father. Let him know what kind of daughter he raised. You wouldn't. Watch me. He sent the recording, then blocked her number. Stay away from Shakira. Stay away from me. If I ever see you again, what I do to you will make you wish I'd stayed in the criminal world. He left Yuna standing in her hotel room, her perfect mask completely shattered. When Jiwon got home, Shakira was sitting on the couch wrapped in a blanket. She looked small and scared, nothing like the strong woman he knew she was. It's over, he told her gently, sitting beside her. Travis is being handled. Yuna won't bother us again. You're safe. This is because of me, your drama, your problems. No, this is because some people can't accept that they've lost. But they have lost. We're together. We're safe. And in 2 months, we start our new life. He pulled her close. I'm never letting anything hurt you again. Shakira buried her face in his chest and finally let herself cry. Not from fear, but from relief. The nightmare was finally over. They could begin again. The recording Jiwon sent to Yuna's father had unexpected consequences. Instead of apologizing or backing down, Daesung declared war. Not literally, but in the criminal world, it might as well have been. He made my daughter look foolish, Daesung told his people. He embarrassed our family. There must be consequences. Within a week, 3 of Jiwon's remaining businesses were hit. One was vandalized, another was robbed, and the third burned down in the middle of the night. No one was hurt, but the message was clear. He's testing you, Taemin explained, showing Jiwon the damage reports, seeing if you'll fight back, or if the rumors about you going soft are true. I don't care about the businesses. I'm selling them anyway. But your men care. Your reputation matters until you're completely out. Taemin looked worried. If you don't respond, others will think you're weak. More families will test you. Jiwon rubbed his tired eyes. He'd been up all night making sure Shakira felt safe after the Travis incident. Now he had to deal with this. What do you suggest? One strong response. Show Daesung that leaving the life doesn't mean you're defenseless. Then finish your exit before things escalate. Jiwon agreed to let Taemin handle it. He didn't ask for details. He didn't want to know. He just wanted to protect what mattered. But protecting what mattered got harder when his uncle Sangmin showed up at the house unannounced. We need to talk, Sangmin said, pushing past Jiwon into the living room. About the mess you're making. If you're here to lecture me about Shakira, save your breath. This isn't about her. It's about you throwing away everything your father built. Sangmin's face was red with anger. You're making us look weak. Other families are laughing at us. Let them laugh. I'm done caring what they think. Well, I care. Your father was my brother. He trusted me to help guide you. And you're spitting on his legacy. My father's legacy was violence and fear. I don't want it. Sangmin stood up abruptly. That girl has poisoned your mind. You were strong before her. Focused. Now you're weak and distracted. Jiwon stood too, his voice dangerous. Shakira saved me from becoming like my father. Like you. Someone so obsessed with power and respect that they forget what actually matters. Family matters. Loyalty matters. Then where were you when my mother was being beaten? Where was all this family loyalty then? Jiwon's voice cracked. You did nothing. Everyone did nothing. So don't talk to me about family. Sangmin's face went pale. Your father was under a lot of stress. My father was a monster who drove my mother to kill herself, and I refused to become him. Jiwon pointed to the door. Get out. and don't come back unless you can accept my choices." After his uncle left, Ji-won found Shakira in the guest house. She was curled up on the couch reading, trying to distract herself from the drama. "Are you okay?" she asked, seeing his face. "I heard yelling." "Family politics, nothing you need to worry about." He sat beside her, pulling her close. "Tell me about your day. What normal thing happened?" Shakira understood what he needed, an escape from the chaos. "I signed up for community college classes. I start in January. Nursing program." Ji-won smiled, genuine happiness breaking through his stress. "That's amazing. I'm so proud of you." "I'm scared. It's been years since I was in school." "You're the smartest person I know. You'll be incredible." He kissed her forehead. "When you graduate, I'll take you anywhere you want to celebrate. Paris, Tokyo, Namibia to see your family. Anywhere." They sat in comfortable silence, holding each other while the storm raged outside. These moments were what kept Ji-won going, reminded him why he was fighting so hard to leave his old life. But the storm was about to get much worse. Dae-sung wasn't satisfied with attacking businesses. He wanted to hurt Ji-won where it really mattered. So he started looking into Ji-won's family, searching for weak points. He found one in Harin. Ji-won's sister lived alone in an apartment downtown. She was independent, smart, and completely unprepared for what was coming. It happened on a Tuesday morning. Harin was leaving for work when two men grabbed her in the parking garage. She tried to scream, but they covered her mouth and dragged her into a van. When Ji-won got the call, his blood turned to ice. "What do you mean she's missing?" "Her car is in the garage, door open, purse on the ground. Security footage shows two men grabbing her." Taemin's voice was grim. "Ji-won, I think this is Dae-sung. Find her. Now. I don't care what it takes." Shakira came running when she heard Ji-won shouting. "What happened?" "Harin's been taken. I think it's retaliation for the Yuna situation." Ji-won was already grabbing his car keys, his phone. "I have to find her. I'm coming with you." "No, it's too dangerous. She's my friend too. I'm coming." They spent the next 6 hours following leads, making calls, putting pressure on every contact they had. Finally, a message came. Dae-sung wanted to meet. "Come alone," the message said. "We'll discuss terms for your sister's return." "It's a trap," Taemin warned. "I know, but I'm going anyway." Ji-won looked at Shakira. "Stay here, please. If something happens to me, Taemin will protect you." "Nothing's going to happen to you." Shakira grabbed his face, forcing him to look at her. "Come back to me. Both of you." Ji-won kissed her hard, like he was memorizing the taste of her. Then he left. The meeting place was an abandoned warehouse, classic and predictable. Dae-sung waited inside with 6 men. Harin sat tied to a chair, looking scared, but unharmed. "Let her go," Ji-won said immediately. "After we talk about your disrespect." Dae-sung circled him slowly. "You humiliated my daughter, destroyed potential alliances, made me look weak. Your daughter tried to have my girlfriend terrorized. She got what she deserved. That's your opinion. Here's mine." Dae-sung nodded, and one of his men backhanded Harin across the face. Ji-won lunged forward, but guns appeared immediately. He froze. "Here's what's going to happen," Dae-sung continued. "You're going to apologize to Yuna. You're going to reconsider the alliance, and you're going to remember that leaving this life doesn't mean you can avoid consequences. And if I refuse, then your sister pays for your pride." Ji-won looked at Harin. Her lip was bleeding, but her eyes were fierce. She shook her head slightly, telling him not to give in. He thought about Shakira waiting at home, about the life they were building, about finally being free. Then he thought about his sister dying because of his choices. "Fine," he said quietly. "I'll do what you want." "Smart choice," Dae-sung smiled. "Yuna will be pleased." But while they were talking, Shakira was doing something stupid and brave. She'd called the only person she could think of who might help. Tae-min. We can't just wait, she'd argued. Dae-sung might kill them both. What do you suggest? I have an idea, but you're not going to like it. Shakira had remembered something from one of Yuna's threats. Something about Dae-sung stealing from his own organization. She'd mentioned it to Ji-won weeks ago, but they'd been too distracted to follow up. Now, with Taemin's help, they dug into Dae-sung's finances. It took them 2 hours and some illegal hacking, but they found it. Proof that Dae-sung had been skimming money from the organization for years. Millions of dollars hidden in offshore accounts. If his people find out, they'll turn on him, Taemin said. This is enough to start a war within his own family. Then let's make sure they find out. They sent the information to Dae-sung's top 3 men, the ones who actually ran most of the operations. Then Shakira did something even more reckless. She called Dae-sung's phone. At the warehouse, Dae-sung's phone rang. He answered impatiently. What? This is Shakira, she said, her voice shaking but determined. Check your email. Your men just received some interesting information about where their money has been going. Dae-sung's face went white. What did you do? I exposed you. Your people know you've been stealing from them. How long do you think before they come for you? While Dae-sung was distracted, Ji-won moved. He grabbed the gun from the closest man and pointed it at Dae-sung's head. Let my sister go. Now. Chaos erupted, but before anyone could shoot, 3 of Dae-sung's own men turned their guns on him. Is it true? One of them demanded. Have you been stealing from us? Don't be ridiculous. That girl is lying. The documents look pretty real. Account numbers, transfer dates, everything. The man's voice was cold. You've been taking money meant for our families while we risked our lives. Dae-sung realized he'd lost control. His own people were turning on him. This isn't over, he said to Ji-won. Yes, it is. Take your internal problems and leave Denver. If you come near my family again, I'll release that financial information to everyone in the organization. Ji-won kept his gun steady. Cut Ha-rin loose. One of Dae-sung's men, now more interested in dealing with their boss than Ji-won, cut the ropes. Ha-rin ran to her brother, and they backed toward the exit. You just made a powerful enemy, Dae-sung called after them. You made yourself an enemy to your own people. That's worse. They drove away fast, Ha-rin safe in the back seat. When they got home, Shakira ran out of the house and threw herself at Ji-won. You're okay. You're both okay. Because of you. Ji-won held her tight. What you did was incredibly dangerous and incredibly brave. I couldn't just sit and do nothing. Ha-rin hugged Shakira. You saved my life. I'll never forget that. That night, the 3 of them sat together in the living room, processing everything. Ji-won made the final decision. I'm not waiting 2 more months. I'm out now. Tomorrow I sign everything over to Taemin. We move to a different city and start completely fresh. Where? Shakira asked. Anywhere you want. As long as we're together. They chose Salt Lake City, far enough from Denver to be safe, but not so far they couldn't visit. Ji-won bought a small restaurant space and started renovating. Shakira transferred her college credits and enrolled in nursing school. The first few months were hard. Ji-won struggled with his identity. For years, he'd been someone powerful, feared. Now, he was just a restaurant owner, learning how to properly cook rice without burning it. I'm terrible at this, he said, one night, after a particularly bad dinner service. Maybe this was a mistake. You're learning. That's different from being terrible. Shakira wrapped her arms around him from behind. It took me 3 tries to pass my anatomy exam. Growth is messy. Slowly, they built their new life. The restaurant started getting customers. Shakira aced her nursing classes. They bought a small house with a backyard where they planned to plant a garden. One night, 6 months after moving, Travis showed up at the restaurant. He looked sober for once, nervous. I'm not here to cause trouble, he said immediately when Ji-won stepped forward. I just wanted to apologize to Shakira. I'm in a program now. Making amends. Shakira looked at the man who'd terrorized her for so long. He looked smaller now, sad and broken. I don't forgive you, she said clearly. What you did was unforgivable. But I hope you get better. I hope you never hurt anyone again. Travis nodded and left. Watching him walk away, Shakira felt something lift. She'd taken back her power. She wasn't a victim anymore. That night, in their own bed, in their own house, Jiwon held Shakira close. I love you. I love our life. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. Always, Shakira whispered. They were finally, truly free. Life in Salt Lake City was quieter than Denver. The restaurant, which they'd named Two Worlds, was slowly building a reputation. Jiwon had found a talented Korean chef to work with him, and together they created fusion dishes that locals loved. Namibian spices mixed with Korean techniques, traditional recipes reimagined. Shakira was thriving in nursing school. Her professors praised her dedication and natural empathy with patients. She had a real gift for making people feel comfortable, even during painful procedures. Everything seemed perfect. But perfect never lasts forever. The call came on a Tuesday morning. Uncle Sangmin's voice was tight with something between anger and desperation. Your cousin is dead, killed in a territory dispute. Your presence is required at the funeral. Jiwon's stomach dropped. His cousin Minwoo had been one of the few family members who'd stayed neutral during the split. When? This weekend. And Jiwon, the family expects you to come back after, to take your rightful place. We've been weak without you. I'm not coming back. Even for your cousin's funeral, even to honor family. Jiwon closed his eyes. I'll come to the funeral. Nothing more. He told Shakira that evening while they prepped vegetables for the dinner service. Her knife froze mid-chop. You're going back to Denver? Just for the funeral. One day. I'm coming with you. Shakira, it's not safe. These family events are complicated. There will be politics, pressure, people trying to pull me back in. Exactly. Which is why you need me there. She set down her knife and took his hands. We're a team. We face things together, remember? The funeral was held in a traditional Korean church in Denver. Shakira stood next to Jiwon in a black dress she'd bought specifically for this, holding his hand while he stood rigid with grief and stress. The service was in Korean, so she couldn't understand the words, but she understood pain. Minwoo's wife sobbed in the front row, holding a young daughter. He was 28, Jiwon whispered. 2 years younger than me. Shot over a shipment dispute that probably involved $5,000. I'm sorry. After the service, the family gathered at Sangmin's house. It was the first time Shakira had been surrounded by all of Jiwon's extended family. They studied her with obvious judgment, the African girlfriend who'd pulled their golden boy away from his destiny. Sangmin cornered Jiwon in his study after dinner. Minwoo's death leaves a gap in leadership. The territories are unstable. You need to come back. Promote someone else. Taemin is doing fine. Taemin doesn't have the family name. He can't command respect the way you can. Sangmin leaned forward. Your father would be ashamed of what you've become. A restaurant owner, playing house with a waitress. My father would be ashamed that I'm happy, that I'm building something legitimate. Jiwon stood up. You want to know the truth? I'm glad he's dead. He was a monster who destroyed our family, and I refuse to become him just because you think that's my destiny. The door opened, and Haran stuck her head in. Everything okay? We're done here, Jiwon said, walking out. But Sangmin wasn't finished. At the reception, he approached Shakira, while Jiwon was talking to his cousin's widow. You've ruined him, Sangmin said quietly. He was meant for greatness, power, respect. Now he's wasting away in some small restaurant. He's happy, Shakira replied. keeping her voice steady despite her racing heart. That's not waste. Happiness is a luxury people like us can't afford. We have responsibilities, duties. Sangmin's eyes were cold. How much would it take for you to leave? Name your price. Shakira felt anger rise up, hot and fierce. There is no price. I'm not leaving Jiwon. Not for money. Not for family pressure. Not for anything. You don't get to buy me off like I'm some gold digger. Then you're a fool. You could take money and start over somewhere he'd never find you. Instead, you're dragging him down. Or maybe I'm lifting him up. Shakira stepped closer. Jiwon was dying in your world, becoming someone he hated. I gave him a reason to be better. So take your money and your judgment and leave us alone. She walked away before Sangmin could respond, her hands shaking with adrenaline. Jiwon found her outside, taking deep breaths. What happened? Your uncle tried to pay me to leave you. I told him where he could put his money. Jiwon's jaw tightened. I'm done. We're leaving. Now. They drove back to Salt Lake City in silence. Jiwon was processing his cousin's death, the family pressure, all the old expectations trying to drag him back. Do you regret it? Shakira asked quietly. Leaving that life? Choosing me? Never. Not for a second. Jiwon glanced at her. My only regret is that Minwoo didn't get out too, that he died for something meaningless. You can't save everyone. I know, but I can save myself. Save us. Back in Salt Lake City, Jiwon made a decision. He called his lawyer and officially changed his name. Not completely, but he added Shakira's last name to his. Now he was Jiwon Park Nkosi, a blend of his Korean heritage and her Namibian roots. You didn't have to do that, Shakira said, tears in her eyes when he showed her the papers. I wanted to. Your family is my family now. Your culture is part of our story. He kissed her softly. Besides, it feels right. Like I'm becoming someone new. The name change was symbolic, but powerful. It was Jiwon's way of saying he was fully committed to this new life. No more looking back. But family drama wasn't finished with them yet. A month after the funeral, Haran showed up at their door unannounced. I left, she said simply, dragging her suitcase inside. Told Uncle Sangmin I was done with the family business. He freaked out, said I was betraying everyone. So I drove straight here. You're always welcome, Jiwon said, hugging his sister. But are you sure? Leaving isn't easy. You did it. You're happy. I want that too. Haran looked at both of them. I want to build my own life. Maybe go to college. Be someone besides the boss's sister. Shakira hugged her. You can stay as long as you need. Having Haran there changed the dynamic in good ways. She helped at the restaurant, enrolled in community college, and became Shakira's best friend. The three of them created their own little family, separate from the chaos they'd left behind. One evening, while cleaning up after the restaurant closed, Haran asked the question Shakira had been thinking about. Have you two thought about getting married? Jiwon and Shakira looked at each other. They'd been so focused on building their new life that formal labels hadn't seemed important. Eventually, Jiwon said, when the time is right. But that night, lying in bed, he thought about it more seriously. They'd been through so much together, built so much. Why wait? He started planning. 2 weeks later, Jiwon told Shakira they were taking a weekend trip. Just us, to celebrate you finishing your first year of nursing school. They drove to Boise, Idaho, to a cabin by a lake. It was peaceful, isolated, beautiful. On their second evening there, Jiwon suggested a walk by the water at sunset. Shakira was talking about her upcoming clinical rotation when Jiwon stopped walking. She turned back to find him on one knee, a ring box in his hand. Shakira, he said, his voice shaking slightly. A year ago, you walked back into my life after I thought I'd lost you forever. You saved me in that parking lot, and again when you forgave me, and every day since. You make me want to be better. You make me believe I deserve happiness. Tears were already streaming down Shakira's face. I want to spend the rest of my life proving that choosing you was the best decision I ever made. Will you marry me? Yes, Shakira gasped. Yes, yes, yes. The ring was simple, but beautiful. A single diamond on a silver band. Jiwon slid it onto her finger, then stood and kissed her deeply. I love you so much, he whispered against her lips. I love you too. Forever. They made love in the cabin that night, slow and meaningful, celebrating the promise they'd just made to each other. Jiwon worshipped every inch of Shakira's body, showing her with actions what words couldn't express. Afterwards, they lay tangled together, both feeling complete. When should we get married? Shakira asked, playing with her new ring. Whenever you want. Big wedding, small wedding, courthouse. I just want to call you my wife. Small, Shakira decided. Just people who matter. Your sister, my family on video call, maybe Taemin. Perfect. They planned the wedding for 3 months later, giving Shakira's family time to save money for plane tickets. Jiwon paid for everything, insisting it was his honor to bring Shakira's mother and younger sister to America for the ceremony. The night before the wedding, Shakira video called her mother. Her mother was already in her hotel room in Salt Lake City, having arrived that morning. I wish your grandmother could see you, her mother said in their native language. She always said you'd find someone special. I wish she was here too, but I feel like she's watching. This man treats you well? He treats me like I'm precious, like I'm the most important thing in his world. Her mother smiled. Then I'm happy. That's all a mother wants, for her daughter to be loved. The wedding was held in a small outdoor venue, just 30 people. Shakira wore a simple white dress. Jiwon wore a suit. Haran cried through the whole ceremony. Shakira's mother cried too, happy tears for her daughter who'd traveled so far and found love. When they exchanged vows, Jiwon's voice was steady. I promise to choose you every day, to protect you, support you, and love you through everything. You're my home, Shakira. My heart. My everything. Shakira's voice shook with emotion. I promise to stand with you, not behind you, to be your partner in building this life we've dreamed about. You saved me in that parking lot, but we saved each other every day since. I love you, Jiwon. Forever. They kissed as husband and wife, and the small crowd cheered. The reception was at their restaurant. Jiwon had closed it for the night, and they decorated with simple flowers and candles. The food was a fusion of Korean and Namibian dishes, representing both their cultures coming together. During their first dance, Jiwon whispered in Shakira's ear, "Thank you." For what? For not giving up on us, for fighting for this, for being brave enough to love me despite everything. Thank you for being worth fighting for. Later, when they cut the cake and Shakira smashed a piece in Jiwon's face, everyone laughed. It was the first time some people had seen Jiwon look completely relaxed, happy, free. That night, in their house that was truly theirs, Jiwon carried Shakira over the threshold like tradition demanded. They made love as husband and wife, both overwhelmed by how far they'd come. Mrs. Parkin Kosi, Jiwon said, tracing patterns on her bare shoulder. I like how that sounds. Me too. Shakira snuggled closer. Though your uncle probably heard about the wedding and is having a heart attack about the name. Good. Let him be mad. I don't care anymore. And he really didn't. For the first time in his life, Jiwon Park and Kosi was completely, truly happy. 1 year of marriage felt like both a moment and a lifetime. Shakira had graduated from nursing school and gotten a job at Salt Lake City Regional Medical Center. She worked in the emergency department, which was chaotic and exhausting, but exactly what she'd dreamed of doing. Helping people. making a difference. Jiwon's restaurant had become successful enough to expand. He'd opened a second location across town and was training new staff. His cooking had improved so much that a local food blogger had featured Two Worlds as one of the city's best hidden gems. "Can you believe this is our life?" Shakira said one morning, reading the blog review while eating breakfast. "Sometimes I wake up and think I'm dreaming," Jiwon admitted. "That I'll open my eyes and still be in Denver, still running the family business, still miserable. But you're not. You're here. We're here." They'd settled into comfortable routines, morning coffee together before work, text messages throughout the day, dinner together when their schedules aligned, talking about everything and nothing. Weekends were for lazy mornings in bed, farmers' market trips, and occasionally visiting Harin at her apartment. Harin had graduated with a degree in business management and now helped run the restaurants. She'd also started dating one of Jiwon's sous chefs, a sweet guy named Marcus, who treated her like she was the most amazing person in the world. "I'm happy for her," Jiwon said, watching his sister laugh at something Marcus said during a staff dinner. "She deserves good things. You both do." Life wasn't perfect. Some nights Jiwon still had nightmares about his old life, about violence and fear and the person he used to be. Shakira would hold him during those nights, reminding him that person was gone. He'd chosen differently, become better. Shakira had her own struggles. Sometimes patience died, despite her best efforts, and she'd come home crying. Jiwon would make her tea and hold her while she processed the grief. Being a nurse meant carrying other people's pain sometimes, but they carried it together. That made all the difference. 6 months after their first anniversary, Shakira started feeling sick in the mornings. At first, she thought it was stress from work, but when it continued for 2 weeks, she bought a pregnancy test. 2 pink lines appeared almost immediately. Shakira sat on the bathroom floor, staring at the test, feeling a mixture of joy and terror. They'd talked about kids eventually, but hadn't been actively trying. She was only 26. Jiwon was 30. Were they ready? She told him that night after dinner, just placed the test on the table between them and watched his face. Jiwon stared at it for a long moment, his expression unreadable. "Are you happy?" Shakira asked nervously. "We didn't plan this." Jiwon looked up, and his eyes were shining with tears. "Happy?" "Shakira, I'm terrified and excited, and so happy." He came around the table and knelt beside her chair. "We're having a baby. Our baby. You're not scared you'll be like your father. I'm terrified of that. But then I remember that I have you, that I've spent years learning how to be different, how to be gentle." His hand went to her stomach, even though there was nothing to feel yet. "This baby will know love, safety. I promise." They spent the evening planning, converting the spare bedroom into a nursery, thinking about names, imagining what their child might look like. "I hope they have your eyes," Shakira said. "I hope they have your courage," Jiwon countered. The pregnancy was mostly easy. Shakira had morning sickness for the first 3 months, but nothing severe. She kept working until she was 8 months along, finally giving in when standing for 12-hour shifts became impossible. Jiwon became ridiculously protective. He made her special foods based on what she was craving. He talked to her belly every night, telling their baby stories about both their cultures. He painted the nursery a soft yellow, since they'd decided not to find out the gender. "I want to be surprised," Shakira had said. "Like everything else good in my life has been a surprise." When her water broke at 3 in the morning on a Tuesday, Jiwon panicked more than she did. "Hospital. We need hospital. Where are your bags? Did you pack bags? Why aren't you more concerned?" He was running around their bedroom frantically while Shakira calmly got dressed. "Jiwon, breathe. First babies take hours. We have time." But their baby had other ideas. They'd barely gotten to the hospital when Shakira's contractions intensified. Everything happened fast after that. Too fast for epidurals or careful planning. Ji-won held Shakira's hand while she pushed, completely amazed by her strength. "You're incredible," he kept saying. "So strong. I love you so much." And then, after what felt like forever and no time at all, a baby's cry filled the room. "It's a girl," the doctor announced, placing the tiny, screaming infant on Shakira's chest. Ji-won looked at his daughter for the first time and completely fell apart. Tears streamed down his face as he touched her tiny hand with one finger. "Hi, baby. I'm your dad. I've been waiting to meet you." The baby stopped crying at the sound of his voice, her dark eyes trying to focus on him. "She knows you," Shakira said, crying too. "She's been hearing your voice for months." They named her Amara Grace Park Nkosi. Amara meaning grace in Shakira's native language, and grace because that's what she represented. Grace that brought them together. Grace that saved them both. The first few weeks were exhausting. Amara was a good baby, but babies were still hard. Ji-won took paternity leave from the restaurant to help. He changed diapers at 3 in the morning, learned to heat bottles to the right temperature, and rocked Amara for hours when she was fussy. "I never knew I could love something this much," he said one night, holding their sleeping daughter. "It's terrifying. What if I mess her up?" "You won't. Look at how gentle you are with her, how patient." Shakira leaned against his shoulder. "You're already an amazing father." When Amara was 6 weeks old, Shakira's mother came to visit from Namibia. She spent a month helping with the baby, teaching Shakira traditional songs and stories to share with Amara. "She looks like you did as a baby," Shakira's mother said. Same serious face, like she's thinking deep thoughts. Ji-won sent pictures to Haran constantly. His sister came over every few days to hold her niece, already completely in love. Even Taemin visited from Denver, bringing gifts for the baby and grudging respect for how Ji-won had built this life. "You did good, boss," Taemin said, watching Ji-won expertly change a diaper. "This suits you better than the old life ever did. Thanks for holding things together in Denver, for not making me feel guilty about leaving. You were never meant for that world. Some of us are. Some aren't. Knowing the difference takes wisdom." On Amara's first birthday, they threw a small party at the restaurant. Haran made a cake. Marcus brought decorations. Shakira's mother video called from Namibia to sing happy birthday. Amara, covered in cake and looking confused by all the attention, laughed her bright baby laugh. Ji-won stood with his arm around Shakira, watching their daughter destroy her cake, and felt overwhelming gratitude. This life, this family, this peace. "What are you thinking?" Shakira asked. "That I'd do it all again. Every hard thing, every scary moment, everything that led me to you. Even the parking lot. Especially the parking lot. That's where everything started." They kissed while their daughter played, surrounded by people who loved them. It was simple. Perfect. Everything they'd fought for. That night, after Amara was asleep and they were cleaning up the party mess, Shakira said, "I want another one." Ji-won looked up from wiping down a table. "Another baby?" "Eventually. Maybe when Amara's 2. I want her to have a sibling, someone to grow up with. More kids, more chaos, more love." Ji-won smiled. "I like that plan." 2 years later, they welcomed a son, and 3 years after that, another daughter. Their house was loud and messy and full of laughter. The restaurant expanded to 3 locations. Shakira became the head nurse in the emergency department. Haran married Marcus and had twins. On their 10th wedding anniversary, Ji-won and Shakira went back to Boise. Same cabin, same lake. But this time, they brought their kids and Haran's family. It was chaotic and perfect. On the last evening, after the kids were in bed, Jiwan and Shakira walked by the lake holding hands. "Remember when I proposed here?" Jiwan asked. "I was so nervous, worried you might say no. I would never have said no. Even then, I knew you were my forever." "And now? Still feel that way?" Shakira stopped walking and turned to face him. The sunset painted the sky orange and pink, just like that night 10 years ago. "More than ever. Every day with you is a gift. Every moment we've built together. Our kids, our life, our love. I wouldn't change a single thing." Jiwan kissed his wife, the woman who'd saved him in a parking lot and continued saving him every day. "I love you, Shakira Parkinkosi. Forever." "Forever," she agreed. And as they walked back to the cabin where their children slept, their family whole and safe, they both knew that forever was exactly what they'd found. Not the dramatic forever of movies, not the perfect forever of fairy tales, but the real forever of choosing each other every day. Through hard times and good times. Through fear and joy. Through everything life threw at them. That parking lot meeting had changed both their lives, led them down a path neither expected. But every hard moment, every obstacle, every choice had been worth it for this. For family. For peace. For love. Their forever was just beginning. The end. If you enjoyed Shakira and Jiwan's journey, please subscribe to see more stories like this. Drop a comment letting me know what you thought and where you're watching from. I love hearing from you.